Hello again. Welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. The feature for today is going to be Aqueduct and the Withers Stakes coming up this Saturday. Looking for 3,000 subs by Derby Day. So share the word. Click that subscribe if you haven't done so. I'm going to go through this one rather quickly. I'm not even going to show my face. The field is smallish, weakish, but I think we got some good value coming up, and we might be able to find us a spot to make some money. So let's get right into this and jump to right number one, Global Steve. I always want to say Scuba Steve when I see that. Every time I see it now, it's Scuba Steve. So he's coming in 2 for 2 at the sprint distance, 7 furlongs, coming over from Parks. Question is he going to get the distance? He's got just 5.9 furlongs on the average win distance for Bucaro and the Isabel and the Rose for Isabel, the Dam. Both Sire and Dam were just really sprinters. The stamina on the Dam Sire side, hard spun, is about what I'm looking at there. So unsure of the distance. It did look good in the Future Stars, but that's Parks. So could have a little bit more trouble trying to be out on the front end. Good thing he's a presser. So I'm just gonna have to see it. I'm not gonna go. I'm probably not gonna make it on that one. Surfside Moon, another presser, 40K maiden winner on the turf. Then tried the stakes company for a couple of races. This one was off the turf and finished fifth. That was one with Studley Do Right in it. Then the next race was the Awad, was on the turf and just definitely didn't like that either. Uh, I'm not getting there with this one. Corvus, another one I'm probably going to pass on, mostly running versus state bred in the second in this second place finish at 80K. He was beaten by a mile by a Sand Devil. And Sand Devil is trained by Linda Rice, who considered entering Sand Devil into this race, but decided against it and decided to keep it with state breds for 125K. I forgot the name of the stakes race that they're pointing that one for. So if he beat Corvus by that amount of a margin, Corvus is not going to fare well in this race, in my opinion. Pass. Uncle Jim reminds me of the horse that won this race last year, Uncle Heavy, which they're no relation. Everybody's got an uncle, right? I had an Uncle Jim, RIP, rest in peace, Uncle Jim. So anyway, navigated through traffic, Flo Giroux. I really like this 80K, or the maiden win, I should say. He had to work for it in traffic, 2 to 3, shifted paths, got down like 4 flat tires in the stretch and got it done. Then swung back to this 80K N1X, uh, and was beaten, was in contention, but just couldn't quite get there. Cyclone State, for what it's worth, won the Jerome Stakes in his next race. And we have yet to see where ICANN's going from there. But I believe ICANN may have ran in the Jerome. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was a really quality race in any way. And I will say, when I watched the replay, uh, he ducked inside. He was in pursuit of the winner, Cyclone State, right? Then he ducked inside to possibly a dead rail. Sometimes, depending on the weather, it was just a bit above freezing that day, I believe. So sometimes when you have freeze thaw, the inside rail can get heavy and be a disadvantage. So, uh, believe it or not, I don't really know for sure, but it just appeared that way to me because once he shifted over, he just didn't have the momentum he was carrying. So that was just the eyeball test there. Number 5, Mo Quality, a horse that I covered in the Smarty Jones, and was 3 to 1. Ran pretty well. I thought that he was going to have trouble with the average win distance 6.7, was going to have trouble getting the 2 turns, but was benefited, I think, with this second half -17 pace. Really came home slowly. You could see 115 for 3 quarters. Uh, so I think that might have been an assist to help him look that good coming home because he passed Kale's Angel to get the second place finish late, and Kale's Angel uh, wheeled back to win the Renaissance Stakes next out. So, for what it's worth, if you think Mo Quality can go 9 furlongs, probably going to be competitive in this race, I would say. Kendrick Carmouche uh, should be a good looking horse. Captain Cook is the sixth horse. Comes into the Withers, blew him out at 1 to 2 odds by 9 for Rick Dutrow. Manny Franco is going to ride again. So that alone, I think, is probably going to be first in prime power, is leaning this one toward being favored. And I think the highest speed rating, that 92 Brisnet figure, probably going to attract attention as well. But average wind distance 6.6. That's borderline for 9 furlongs. That's on the low end. So practical joke is a mid distance, I think, type horse. I think probably can get the distance, but uh, we're not going to know until we see it. So I'm thinking that if it's a question mark, but could be an underlay in this race. So keep an eye on the tote board. If he comes out at like 5 to 2, the morning line, first or second choice, could get bet down. A lot of good qualities, high percent jockey, trainer, second off the layoff. Everything sets up really well for this horse to run well, except if he doesn't get the distance. So, rounding out the field is Omaha, Omaha. That's your old school Peyton Manning cadence, if you remember. He used to say that every play, and I believe he was the originator of now we hear these quarterbacks, here we go, and all these things that with the when they're mic'd up and they're doing their cadence, snapping the ball. But Omaha, Omaha has to be the first one that anybody can remember. But anyway, could be in position to give trainer Michael Gorham his first Derby horse, maybe. I don't know. The horse is by Audible. I think should excel at these middle distances like 9 furlongs. Audible was very good. Third in the Kentucky Derby. Uh, I believe won some stakes races. I really don't want to start rattling off races because I looked it up, but in Audible's career, but was a very good horse. 7.0 average win distance. This closer came out in the Jerome Stakes and was bumped out of the gate and got so far back by the time they hit the opening quarter mile, you could barely see him in the camera range. If they extended the camera as far back as they could, and they're going around the first opening quarter, and he's 10 lengths behind the last place horse. So he managed to come around and power home down the stretch and passed up ICANN and for second place coming down the stretch. Was never going to catch Cyclone State, obviously, but closed really well, which is going to serve him well. Now, he did benefit from this plus 13, which is probably a little on the fast side, especially at Aqueduct, going just a mile. So fair to Midland pace. The closing win at in the optional claimer was definitely a plus 18, plus 16 for that mile and a 16th in the slop. So if he gets any kind of pace, he should be right there. But I don't necessarily think he needs a fast pace. I think he just needs an honest one, not one that's like -17. If he gets that slow of a pace, he's going to have his work cut out for him. So, not a fan of this race. If you follow me on X at Billy Ho Sports, I thought the field was kind of shitty. They did downgrade this race from a grade 3 to a listed stakes. They just can't seem to get good enough horses in it. So I think maybe the downgrade. I don't know if it's going to remain a Derby prep. They need to rethink what they're doing there because these horses are getting 20 Derby points to the winner, and that's just not fair. I don't think for such a weak field. But anyway, no one stands out as chalk. But like I said, Captain Cook can get money. Uncle Jim's going to see money. Mo Quality's going to see money. Scuba Steve might see money. But I'm going to go. I'm going to take Omaha for I don't know what if you want to call it a mild upset, but it should be at least I'd say the fourth choice, if not the third, maybe the third choice. I mean, nobody's going to pay much attention to the Michael Gorham Raul Mena combo, but you could see Mena's well experienced riding him and has ridden him to two victories in that second. So I think that he's got plenty of experience here. Gorham is a Delaware Park trainer. So moving over to Laurel, then Aqueduct, I give him a definite puncher's chance. You can see he is fourth in prime power. So hopefully we can get maybe some middle single digits, some like 6 to 7 to 1 in that range on him. But Omaha for the win. And then I believe I have the just the others underneath that I mentioned Uncle Jim. I think Uncle Jim is probably a solid horse for I kind of glossed over him a little bit. But Brad Cox, Jose Lescano, City of Light Sire, 7.2 average win distance. Everything lines up for this horse to take another step forward. So there you go. He's probably my second choice. Then I'll probably take Captain Cook as the underlay. Uh, just the speed figures alone, and Dutro being so good up in New York, I'll take the Manny Franco Dutro combo, and then we'll round it out with Mo Quality. We'll call it a day there. I think that's going to be getting us a good jump off point. So I appreciate you joining me. Subscribe, like, share, comments, notifications. Keep up the good work, folks, and I'll do the same. See you soon.